Welcome to the Black Girls Heal podcast, where we talk about changing unavailable relationship patterns, healing unresolved trauma, and building a healthy relationship with first you and then others. Every episode, we will talk about actionable advice that you can apply today to break unhealthy patterns and grow your self-worth. I'm Sheena Tubbs. Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. I hope that you are doing well, my loves. I hope that you are feeling cherished and protected and safe wherever you are, because you are deserving of being protected. You're deserving of being seen. You're deserving of being loved. And I just wish that and hope that for all of you today. So with that said, let's talk about today's episode. Well, first, actually, I am just feeling so much gratitude, y'all. I love our community. I love our little family. And I just am in love with hearing all of your success stories and how y'all are showing up for yourselves and how your lives are changed. And every time I get a text or a DM or an email or something that just tells me how the podcast or our materials or something has helped or supported you, it just deposits a little love and some warmth and some care into my life. And so I am just grateful for y'all. I'm grateful for y'all and I'm grateful for just the opportunity to be a teacher for you and a coach for you and a support for you, because we need each other, y'all. We need each other. We need that sisterhood. And so just happy to be a part of your story in whatever place that I get to be. So with that said, after giving y'all that love, today's topic is about being clear with the people in your life about what it is that you need. Okay, so this isn't really going to be focusing on romantic partnerships today, even though it absolutely could apply there. But I really want to talk about this in the realm of friendships and relational support with our peers and people who are our chosen family, which are our friendships. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this in today's episode, like a lot of times, I had a whole other topic. But watching the trends of what's been happening around me, I've noticed so many conversations in my personal life and in the lives of my students and in the lives of people around me, where within their friendships and within their relationships, they will share something that is intimate or vulnerable, and the response that they get is not what they were needing to hear. Either the person did not respond at all in the way that they wanted to, or they did in part, or they felt judged, they felt invalidated, they felt unheard, and it just really soured them on wanting to continue to share in general, but also to continue to share with that person. And in me watching these things happen, what I have noticed and also what I know is that miscommunication can happen even in the best of relationships. And if you're someone who's working on building trust and learning how to be vulnerable and learning how to share yourself, those first times that you are starting to open up to people are really, really important experiences. Those will color whether or not you continue to do so. If you actually see that there is reward in you being open and vulnerable, that people actually can validate you and it is safe to open up, or it will reinforce what you may have believed to be true, that whenever I open up, people judge me, they don't get it, they don't understand, no one's actually going to be able to connect with me, which makes you want to recycle old relationships or go into your own safe, protective bubble. So what I really want to hopefully do today is to talk about those miscommunications that happen, to break down how sometimes those happen because we aren't clear on what we need in the first place. So our friends and loved ones are just giving us what they think that we need because we weren't clear in asking for it. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And also want to talk about how do you repair when someone has hurt your feelings, including when it's someone who you know didn't intentionally mean to do it. Because just because you know someone loves you and you know someone had good intentions does not stop you from holding grudges. It does not stop you from not trusting them to continue to share what happened with you. It doesn't stop you from thinking that no one else is really going to get you and make you want to just shut down, right? And so let's go ahead and talk about how to best ask people for support. So I've shared this before in the podcast, and those of you who are my students, I talk about this all the time, is absolutely how I even frame my coaching, which is you need to be clear on if you're needing validation from people, or if you're needing feedback and advice from them, or if you're just needing them to listen. If you're needing someone to just tell you that what you're thinking makes sense and that you have a right to feel that way, but then you ask them just an open-ended statement, well, what do you think about this? And they give you their feedback and thoughts about this, you are going to feel really upset. And even if what they're saying is true and it fits the scenario, because you weren't clear that, hey, girl, I just need you to just tell me that I have a right to feel this way and it's okay for me to be upset, you're going to feel as if they are judging you. You're going to feel as if they just don't get it, that they don't want to get it. And you might even start to replay previous conversations where you look for evidence that supports this theory that's totally based on your trigger, but supports this theory that they don't actually care about you, or they're not a safe place to share, and you'll start to pick apart other conversations that you've had before. But it's not because that person wasn't capable of giving you validation and just affirming where you were. It's that they didn't know that that's what you needed. And so them trying as their best selves to show up for you, they gave you what they thought you were asking for. So you got to be clear in those ways. Another example is, let's say you were wanting feedback from somebody. You were wanting them to give you their advice and give you next steps and give you what they would do in that situation. And so you tell them whatever is going on, but all they respond with is validation. So that looks like I tell you the problem that's happening, and then you say something to the effect of, oh, girl, that sounds really sad. That sucks. Well, I know it's going to work out. If I don't say anything to follow up with that, and I just spilled my guts to you and I told you about this problem that felt really overwhelming, and you just basically said, oh man, that sucks, it'll get better. Even though you're trying to validate me and show support, I'm going to leave that situation feeling really abandoned and feeling really like I'm just doing it on my own. I might even feel exposed and embarrassed because I shared so much and I kind of laid myself bare without getting the reward or the feedback that I needed. So not only did I just share all my business, but this person isn't even helping me, or it feels like they don't care. So now it's just a double whammy, which makes me not want to share what I'm needing again in the future, right? Hopefully that's making sense. So what you need to do when it comes to talking with your friends, talking with your chosen family, is you need to preemptively, when you are talking with people around you, you need to tell them, I am needing validation, or I am needing you to give me feedbacks and to tell me your thought, or I need you to not give me any advice. I just need you to listen and to tell me I'm not tripping. This is a really important skill that I really, really push people to practice, even when I may think I know what they're wanting, which can be really frustrating to people on the other side, especially if they're in the energy with like, fix it, I'm in pain, fix it. This is really important for you to have that internal vocabulary, because we teach people how to treat us, and not in the boundary sense that a lot of times people talk about, like your no's or what command things, but literally with the people that we love and the people who love us, we are the experts in teaching them how to show up for us. You know, in a best friend group, every different best friend is going to need something different than the other one. And a family of people who all grew up in the same place, in the same neighborhood at the same time, every single person is going to have different communication needs, different emotional needs, different thought patterns, even though they all came from the same place, right? And so with that understanding, knowing that every person is unique, and even when someone wants to really show up for you, they are not in your head. It's up to us to learn how to teach people, okay, sis, like in this situation right here, I'm needing validation. I'm needing you to just join with me. I'm needing you to be upset with me. I'm needing you to tell me that it's okay for me to be sad. I'm needing you just to get excited with me and to not give me the worst case scenario, to prepare myself for if something goes bad, because that's something else that people can do sometimes with they do want to protect you, and so they come with, well, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? And it just ruins your mood, right? It's just a buzzkill. And so if you haven't taught people how to respect those boundaries because you don't really know how to express those boundaries yourself, then it's kind of a situation that's set up for those disconnects and set up for those miscommunications. So you may not know what it is that you need because maybe you've never had people ask you those questions before. Maybe you've never actually sat critically and thought, okay, what is the difference between someone actually just validating me and telling me that it's okay to feel what I feel and them giving me advice? Like maybe for you, all of those things have always gone together. And so to separate them feels like a new thought. So that's why I'm trying to give these examples of a time when what you did need was just someone to tell you that it was okay, but they gave you feedback, or you needed them to actually jump in and join hands with you and problem solve with you, but they just sat and held space for you, and it felt more lonely than anything. So to be clear with people, with what you need, first you have to be clear with yourself about what it is that you want, and then you need to ask them for it. You need to share in the conversation, either at the beginning, okay, look, I'm about to tell this story and this is what I need. Or if you're someone who needs to talk it all out and then say the whole story, at the end be like, okay, girl, I need you to tell me what you think. Like, I need your advice and your support. Or, girl, okay, I need you to tell me, do you think that I had that my feelings made sense with this? The sentence I was about to say that I stopped myself with is the sentence, do you think I had a right to do X? Or do you think that my thoughts made sense? And those are really tough questions because one, that question could be asking for either feedback or just validation. Like that same question, do you think that I was acting right, could be an invitation for you to join with me and like choose my side and say, girl, I support you. Yes, you have full rights to own your feelings. Or you could be asking me for actual feedback to critique. Was I tripping? Like, did I need to change my thought pattern? Did I change my behavior? And if you're asking me for critical feedback, if you're asking me, do I need to change my behavior? But I think that what you're asking me for is just to take your side, then I can become a yes woman. I can just become someone who's just telling you everything you did was great. And that can feel invalidating to you because you're thinking, man, I just want my friends to tell me the truth. Like, I'm trying to be a better person. And here they are agreeing with me with everything. And I'm trying to grow. Okay, well, I can't talk to them because they're not going to tell me the truth. Right? Or the other example is you ask me, am I tripping? Or I ask you, am I tripping? And all I'm needing for you is to take my side and say, girl, yeah, if she did that to me, I wouldn't deal with it. But I think what you're asking me for is to critique. Then I'm going to be real upset because not only did this other person make me upset and I'm upset about how things went down, but now I have my friend telling me how I did something wrong and how I should have changed my behavior. Now for sure I'm upset, So that's what I mean about why it is so, that's why this is so important, y'all. And it's so important for us because the people who love us are always going to show up as their best selves through the way that we ask them to do so. And so if we set them up in a way that doesn't set them up for success to help us successfully, then it can just cause so many miscommunications and breaches of trust on both sides because maybe you may have the breach of trust because of how they responded to you, and so now there's a rupture, and now you don't want to talk to them, and now you're upset, or now you get like y'all are out to dinner and you get quiet, or y'all are texting and then you leave them on red and you don't respond until the next day, and so they know something's off, and then they're like, what's going on? I thought this is what she needed, and now they're making up stories about what's going on. Y'all, it's just a whole big cycle, right? So start that general internal process of being clear about what it is that I want in this moment. Now, and I gave you examples on how to ask for it. Now let's talk about what to do if they do misunderstand. Or let's say you did think that you wanted feedback at first. Let's say you did think that you wanted advice and they gave validation. How do you go and communicate it after the fact when you're in your feelings? Or you wanted validation, but they gave you feedback and now you're feeling criticized and judged. A lot of times it will be very easy, again, if these are people that you love and you have a good relationship with and you've had a lot of trust and history with, it can be very tempting for you to just swallow it, to not bring it up, and to not mention it. And I fully support you doing that if in that moment, you might not have liked the feedback, but it literally runs off your back and you don't hold it in your head as a grudge. You don't have a tally mark in your mind about that one time that she didn't give you the answer that you needed. It doesn't, their misunderstanding of what you are asking for didn't cause you to trust them any less, then yes, you don't have to have a deep conversation about everything, right? But if you laid yourself bare or you shared something with them and you felt perturbed by the fact that their feedback or advice or support was not what you were needing, then I would really encourage you to share that with your friend. And to share it with them in a way that's just honest. It can be as honest as, when I was asking for this, here's what I think I was really asking for, or I thought that this is what I needed, but hearing your feedback, I think what I actually need from you is just to tell me that it's going to be okay. Or, thank you for the validation, but I'm really just needing to know how to solve this problem. What do you think? Or, okay, thank you for telling me how to solve that problem, but I really just wanted to know if I wasn't alone and I wasn't the only person who felt this way. Have you personally ever dealt with this before? And if so, what did you do? Right? And to just practice telling people out loud what you're actually thinking with your feelings, and that will really help the repair happen, because that gives your friend, your family, your partner, whoever, a chance to come and fix it. It gives them a chance to say, oh, I had no idea that that's what you actually wanted. I'm sorry. That's what I was trying to communicate. Here's my response now. Or I've never wanted you to feel that way before. That was not my intention to make you feel judged or criticized. And let me go ahead and tell you what I actually think now. Or, girl, I was trying to be neutral because I didn't want to get in the middle of your relationship issues. But if I was you, I would have kicked him in his balls. Like, it invites your friend to come and give you what you need. And they're not going to know that. And you will leave the conversation unsatisfied. And we don't want that to happen. Okay? Those conversations are uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who doesn't like conflict. Even if you do like conflict, if you're comfortable with conflict, I shouldn't say like conflict, even though I know there's some of us who do like conflict, or like, you need somebody to tell somebody something for you. I got it. And I love having those friends in my life, because those are my bulldogs, and I am growing into becoming my own bulldog. But I love having those people to lead the charge for me. But those conversations can be very difficult when you love the person, because you want to protect them as well. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to make them not want to give you advice in the future, which is sometimes what happens when we grow up codependent, where we think that us having emotions will cause other people to punish us by withdrawing from us and for wanting to create space for us. And our feelings and our emotions are too big, which, if anything, people want to love you. I don't know how to say that a different way. I feel like I'm repeating that same phrase because it's just the basic truth of it. The people who love you want to be able to do it fully and wholly, y'all. And so you giving correction to what they did, I mean, as long as it's done in a loving, respectful, but honest way, then there's no way that they're going to respond outside of saying I'm sorry and doing it differently. I recently had to have most of those conversations myself with several of my friends on both sides, right? And what I realized is that part of what was happening for me was the exact same thing that I told y'all today, which is I'm blessed to be surrounded by some really amazing friends who, for the most part, get it. And I can get lazy sometimes, and I can tell them things, and I can be like, just assuming that because they're emotionally aware and they do their work and they're funny and they're well adjusted and everything, that they'll know automatically how to respond. And there are a couple situations where they showed up and they supported me, but it wasn't what I was needing. And like, I felt judged, or I felt triggered, or I felt upset by it. And I was like, I need to tell them that this is what I was needing, because I'm feeling sour and I don't want this to stop me from talking to them later. And I realized that it was on me. Like, I just went and shared everything that was going on and left it open-ended. And they responded how they responded because I didn't give them guidelines on what would be supportive to me. So just know that this is something that can happen in long-term friendships, newer friendships, and friendships with people who are emotionally aware, and friendships with people who are not. So I hope that this was helpful. This was not one of my normal 3-part podcast episodes where I break down the different steps on doing something, but it definitely had all the components of it. So let me know how it goes for y'all as you practice it with people in your life. If there's anybody who has hurt your feelings or made you upset, I suggest that you go and you make that repair. Make that repair by telling them what happened, telling them what it was that you were needing and how it made you feel. Let them apologize to you because they love you, and let them fix it. Let them fix it so that you can know that it is safe to talk with other people, and people will actually understand you, and you won't be tempted to look for comfort in places that are familiar but may not be as safe, like ex relationships or narcissists who are so good at reading you and what you need, even though they don't show up with what you need. Like, stay in those healthy friend groups, because the reward is so much better than what you can get anywhere else as you start to build that trust together. Okay, so that is it for today, y'all. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Hey, so thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you enjoy what you learned today, it doesn't have to stop here. Check out the Black Girls Heal website at blackgirlsheal.org for more resources to help you heal from intimacy disorders like love addiction and love avoidance. The best time to start or restart your healing journey is now. You can grab a free copy of our 5-step roadmap to heal love addiction, love avoidance, and love deprivation by going to blackgirlsheal.org/roadmap. And if you're on social media, feel free to follow us at Black Girls Heal on Instagram and Facebook.